Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words, become much more articulate. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about the benefit of being a slow learner. I've talked about being a fast learner, where you learn certain principles within a field and you consistently begin implementing it with your nervous system. You're not just learning about it, you're actually doing it. And the more that you do it, the more that you learn. Then the theory begins to make more sense. This is how you learn fast. But that's not always going to be the case. For plenty of people, they are going to learn slow, and they would think that learning slow is a bad thing. And I would say learning slow can be a bad thing, especially if you are not grasping the principles. People are telling you the same thing multiple times and you still are not figuring it out. You're not asking any follow-up questions. There's no effort on your end. That's bad. But if you're trying, then being a slow learner can be a good thing because it helps you appreciate the process more. Whenever you're learning something slow, what happens is that you're really learning this field. It's like the difference between watching a movie versus reading a book. When you watch a movie, images are being presented to you. So your brain is not having to do as much work. While when you're reading a book, you are being forced to turn words into imagery and that imagery into understanding. It's sort of like that when you're learning slow because you're learning to appreciate the process. You keep showing up despite not having figured it out. You're building your grit, you're building your understanding, and you're beginning to ask questions that fast learners would have never considered. One example that I can give you is that for me, it took me a while to figure out how to play basketball. And I'm not saying that I'm a basketball wizard or anything, but for a long period, I just couldn't play. I couldn't even hit the backboard for a while. And what happened was I had this other guy who would teach me, and he would take the time to teach me how to shoot, teach me how to dribble. And I slowly learned how to play the game. I wasn't good at it or anything, but at least I was learning. And as more time went on by, I started to figure out small little hacks that you can do. One example is that when you're dribbling, rather than just dribbling and leaving the other hand down, you want to lift the other hand up so it's harder for a defender to steal the ball away. This is something that I learned because for a long time, people just kept stealing the ball away. And I thought, how can I prevent them from doing something like that? And that's when, boom, this idea came into mind. So whenever you're learning slow, what will happen is that you're starting to learn this field from new angles and you're starting to build resilience. You're harder to kill. So when you finally figure it out, nothing can stop you because you have failed so many times that you just happen to figure it out because you have no other clue which ways to fail. And this is a good thing. This is what I call failing forward, and that is how a lot of winners are born. They took so many L's that eventually they stumbled into a W. If you enjoyed today's talk, drop that like for me right on below, hit subscribe, hit that bell notification, and never miss another episode again. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.